Another day, another space museum. In this new series, I'm going to take you over the world to show where you can go to see the story of space with your own eyes. And the story of space is told in museums like this, in science centers, in places where the history of space was either made or is being displayed or is being told in the many stories that we have around the world in the development of the global space sector. And we're starting in Turkey, and that is maybe a surprising place. Of course, space was not started in Turkey, although Turkey played an important role in some parts of the history of space. But we're starting in Turkey because Turkey is an example of a new space nation. The Turkish president in 2021 defined a new space strategy for this country, evolving around 10 different objectives. And education and outreach, telling the story of space, but more importantly, telling the Turkish population of the opportunities that exist in the new space world. The new space world that is no longer a story of the traditional space nations, the United States and the Soviet Union or Russia, and maybe players like India and China and Europe. The opportunities of space exist everywhere in the world, and this is a typical 21st century, I would say 2025 story. We see the opportunities of space appearing everywhere around the world and being displayed in places like this. So let me take you into the science center here. We are in Bursa, about 100 kilometers south of the city of Istanbul in Turkey, at GUHEM, the largest aviation and space science center in Turkey, if not in the bigger European area. So let's go inside and have a look how the story of space is being told here. So the story of flight starts with the birds, and that's where the story of space here at GUHEM really starts, is humans mimicking the birds, flying to space. And flying with the birds started with flying in balloons, lighter than air vehicles. And of course, in a science center like this, you can experience these developments over time, from ballooning to modern aviation, through materials, through technology, through aerodynamics, through all these developments in history that made humans fly into the air. But humans wanted to go higher, faster, discover what is beyond the sky. And that's where space comes into play. And of course, the history of spaceflight started in the Soviet Union and in the United States, with Yuri Gagarin becoming the first person in space, and the Americans at the same time with the Mercury program. So the history of space is about the history of rocketry, and rockets were developed in Russia, in Europe, and of course in America, to bring us up higher where aviation could bring us. So let's go to space. And here we go, the traditional space countdown. We go from the aviation floor up to the space floor. Welcome to space. And like at any space museum, of course they can turn gravity off. And after a short flight, we arrive in space. And again, we get to touch all the equipment and to play with the instruments that scientists and engineers are using to discover the secrets of space. Not just spacecraft, but telescopes and all sorts of equipment to really experience the mysteries of space and humans' endeavor into finding out what's going on in space. And not only do we get to fly into space, we get to land on the surface of different planets. We're on Mars, where we join Curiosity and Perseverance in their quest to find out whether there was ever life on Mars. And again, these interactive displays show kids, visitors, about the mysteries of space and the discoveries in the universe. So here at GUHEM Aerospace Science Center, you can really follow the traces of humanity going to the skies, going beyond the skies, and going into space and discovering the increasing size of the world around us. And of course, as we've seen, the story that inspires most is the story of humans in space, and that is being told throughout GUHEM in the displays, is the relation between humanity and space. And that is even more visible here in the Wall of Legends. The photographs of several dozens of astronauts that were actually here last year when the Association of Space Explorers celebrated its annual conference here in Bursa, visiting the museum, signing their photos on this Wall of Legends here right in the entrance to inspire the kids, to show them that we can go beyond and that the opportunities are there. And the story that is being told is really the story of how you as a visitor fit in to this wonderful world of space and the opportunities that exist for you in any country in the world, and especially through GUHEM here in Turkey. So perhaps the next Turkish astronaut hero will be one of those 1,000 children per day that are inspired by the Wall of Legends and the many activities here at GUHEM in Bursa. And the same can be said for the children visiting any other of the dozens of museums, science centers and other space places around the world. I'm looking forward to showing you many of them in this series going forward. So see you soon at the next space place somewhere around the world. Bye bye.